Hello, my name is Bob, and I'd like to go over some trampoline terminology. Make sure that we are all speaking the same language when we order our trampoline parts. As we take a look at this slide, we have a few common terms to review. At the top of this trampoline, in this circle here, you can see this exploded diagram. This is a pole cap. A pole cap. This pole cap has a D-ring. The strap attaches through the D-ring, the strap of the net. So that's the pole cap. Of course, this here is the safety netting, also sometimes called enclosure netting. Here we see this is the frame pad. This is the pad that covers the springs. You notice that the frame pad has a skirt and then a padded part. When you're measuring for your trampoline pad, you're only going to measure the width of the padded part. You're not going to include the measurement of the skirt area there. Second slide, these are different, this is a different type of enclosure. This is a top ring enclosure, and here you can see a exploded diagram of the top ring. Now, this top ring runs through a sleeve sewn in the top of the net all the way around. Some brands use a series of fiberglass poles to make up their top ring. Others use cables, metal cables as a part of their top ring. In any case, that's either one. It's called the top ring. Here we can see in the middle, this is called the jumping surface. Others call it jumping mat, or just the mat, but we call it jumping surface here. Here on this diagram, you can see this is the foam sleeve. This covers the enclosure pole. So here we have the enclosure pole, and the foam sleeve protects the jumpers from softens the blow of the enclosure pole. Next, we have different types of trampoline enclosure systems. This is called a straight pole enclosure system. You can see the poles are very straight. There's two types of nets that can attach to this. This is called the net for straight pole systems with straps. You can see the straps. There's another type that uses sleeves. You can learn more about that in the enclosure netting section of our site. This is called a top ring enclosure system. As we just discussed, this type of enclosure system has that ring that runs around the top, slides through a sleeve in the net. And this is what we call an arched pole system. Obviously, you can see the arches. This one has 4 arches, and the arches, the net attaches to those arches, in this case with straps, 2 straps to each arch. Next, we'd like to talk about another thing in enclosure systems, inside versus outside. This is an inside enclosure system. What inside means is that the net is attached on the inside of the spring. So in other words, the jumper and the springs are on opposite sides of the net. So the jumper cannot land on the springs because the net protects them from the springs. This is called an outside enclosure system. And as you can see, the net goes around the outside of the frame so that the jumper and the springs are on the same side of the net. Hope you've enjoyed our little video of terminology. Any questions, please contact us at info@justtrampolines.com. Thank you.